Hot take. Brewers shouldn't have abandoned this logo. I know. Their new logo pays homage to the early franchise days. It doesn't look bad, but I said what I said. This logo slapped in all the other logos that went with it, too. Anyway, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to Dugout Talk's Division Breakdowns. Today, we are covering the NL Central, and once again, I will be giving my thoughts on every team's potential opening day roster strengths and weaknesses, and will give my division predictions at the end. We're only 2 days away from spring training, so with that said, let's hop right into the video. Up first, we have the division champion St. Louis Cardinals, who won 93 games last year, but lost in the wild card series to the Phillies 2-0. It was rather surprising considering they were division champions, but again, the Phillies were hot going into October, and sometimes you just cannot beat a hot team. It doesn't matter what you do or how good your lineup is. Offensively, Cardinals signed Wilson Contreras to take over catching duties this year, and this lineup looks pretty stacked as long as they're healthy. Paul Goldschmidt finally won an MVP award last year, and Nolan Arenado also finished top three in MVP voting. They also have top prospect in Jordan Walker, who very realistically could make the opening day roster. And if he does, I imagine he's going to play almost every day. The lineup does need a healthy Tyler O'Neill and Dylan Carlson, however, because if they aren't healthy and at their best, the lineup is good, but not elite. So basically, everybody being at their best is going to be what carries this team. Rotation wise, it's a good rotation, but kind of like the lineup, if it's not healthy, they're going to be a problem more so than the offense. Adam Wainwright is also approaching 40 years old. I'm not really sure how much more he has in the tank. I honestly expected him to retire last year. I was surprised that he didn't. Jordan Montgomery was brilliant after being traded from the Yankees, but aside from that, Jack Flaherty and Steven Matz are injury prone at best, and they're unreliable to get through a full season right now. But they do have Matthew Liberatore, who probably starts the year down in Memphis, unless there's an injury in spring to one of their arms. But Liberatore at some point will be on the team, and he'll be a permanent stay in the rotation when he returns. Bullpen wise, it's pretty nasty. They got Ryan Helsley, who broke onto the scene last year, and he's going to have closer duties again. They also have hard thrower and Jordan Hicks. They got Andre Palante, Genesis Cabrera. I mean, you name it. This bullpen is solid. Again, though, this all rides on everyone being healthy because the team has guys who do have injury history on their belts. Mostly kind of going at Jordan Hicks there with that. In summary, though, I think the Cardinals on paper are the best team in the division still when healthy. However, if they are not healthy, they easily can drop to middle of the pack. Up next, we have the Milwaukee Brewers, who narrowly missed the playoffs last year with an 86 and 76 record. The team definitely struggled at times last year, and unfortunately, the struggles were too much. They surprisingly traded Josh Hader to San Diego, and apparently it killed the clubhouse culture. Like, the players just couldn't believe what happened. It caught everyone off guard, uh, including myself. I mean, I don't think anyone really expected the Brewers to actually trade Hader last year, especially because they were in playoff contention when they did it. This year, they kind of look like a team that may surprise some people, but they almost look ready to hand the reins off to the farm system. They cut payroll. They traded guys like Colton Wong and Hunter Renfroe. Um, so it's not a bad team. Just right now, it kind of looks like a scrappy one, to say the least. Offensively, is an average lineup that can be really good. That's why I'm not writing the Brewers off this year. But if they have injury issues similar to the Cardinals, it's going to be a long summer. And if the offense can't support the good pitching, it's also going to be a very long summer. They did acquire Jesse Winker and William Contreras this offseason. Contreras is a huge upgrade behind the plate over Victor Caratini. They also have Garrett Mitchell looking to be a full time center fielder this season. And if he pans out, he's going to be a stud. Overall, it's not bad. It's just a streaky offense, and I think it's going to be seen all year. They're going to have good stretches, and they're going to have some downright bad ones. Pitching wise, there's not much to say. Corbin Burns, Freddie Peralta, and Brandon Woodruff, they're the three best arms in the rotation when they're all healthy. And Eric Lauer and Adrian Hauser are all solid bottom rotation arms as well. The Brewers didn't make friends with Burns, though, during the arbitration hearing. So, in all seriousness, they better hope this team is competing down the stretch because if they aren't, I guarantee you Corbin Burns is going to be demanding a trade. And it's honestly a shame. The Brewers burning that bridge with Burns, I think it could hurt them in the long run. This is a guy that you build your rotation around in the future. This is a guy that you lock up. Uh, so really, it sucks. It's really unfortunate how that all panned out. Bullpen wise, it's an okay pen. Outside Devin Williams, their best arm is probably Hobie Milner. Other than that, it's just a group of guys looking for jobs, really. And if the bullpen isn't good, it's going to be a hard year for the Brewers. They can kiss their playoff hopes goodbye if the bullpen doesn't perform. In summary, I don't expect a lot from the Brewers this year. Not to say they can't be good and win the division because anything is possible, but they didn't really do a lot this offseason to make improvements aside from William Contreras. But the Central is by far the weakest division, quote unquote, in baseball, on paper anyway. So they realistically have a shot still to win it. Up next, we have the Chicago Cubs, who went 74 and 88 last year, arguably had the busiest offseason of any team this year. They bolstered their lineup and added another decent starter to their rotation, and they also have a ton of depth at every position, it seems like, at the major league level and even in the minors. Offensively, they added Dansby Swanson, Eric Hosmer, Trey Mancini, and Cody Bellinger to the lineup. I think this lineup is going to be very good if everyone clicks. It might even be a little better than the Cardinals if everyone is on all cylinders. The depth in the lineup is insane. So if they do start running into injury problems, they'll be fine. Pretty much everyone in this lineup can play multiple positions. And I think that's crucial. Having that kind of utility balance is very crucial to have. Rotation wise, it's a solid rotation. They also have a lot of young arms who can easily fill needs if there are injuries. However, Kyle Hendricks is questionable to start the season. I still think he's their opening day starter, though, if he's healthy and ready to go. Jameson Tyone is a good three in that rotation. And then you got Drew Smiley, who can even go 6 innings consistently. Their five spot is going to be up for grabs, but I think Hayden Wisniewski is probably the favorite early in camp, but I don't really know. I just threw him in there because I think he's the guy that I just think he's the favorite. Bullpen wise, I would say it is their weakest link by far, but if the bullpen holds their own, the Cubs they're going to be in the division race all season. I'm not sure how I feel about Rowan Wick being the closer, but even if things don't go all that well and they're still in a position to compete, they're definitely going to upgrade the bullpen. It's just a matter of how they upgrade it. In summary, I'm really high on the Cubs. I think they're going to play well this year. I think they're going to surprise a lot of people in the process. They have enough depth on the roster and in the minors to fill holes when needed. I think that's going to save their skin down the stretch. I feel really good about them. Up next, we have the Cincinnati Reds, who finished 62 and 100 last year, a year after nearly making the postseason. They would have been the sixth seed if they had done the six seed format in 2021. Honestly, though, Reds fans deserve better because what ownership did was trash. They had an opportunity to compete for a few years at least, and instead, ownership decided to blow up something really good in the making. It sucks. Uh, Lineup wise, it's average. Joey Votto isn't the hitter he once was, and they have a lot of guys who could be good or just not good at all. Will Myers is an interesting addition. It kind of feels like he could have a bit of a resurgence. And if he does have a resurgence, he probably gets traded at the deadline to another contender. The team, however, really does need Jonathan India and Tyler Stevenson to be healthy because if they aren't, the Reds don't have anyone else on the roster they can really build around at the moment, especially while Ellie De La Cruz develops. And I doubt De La Cruz is going to be on the opening day roster. It just seems like too much right now. At best, it's an average lineup. Nothing really more to say. It's going to be streaky as well. Rotation wise, it's young. It has potential though, kind of like what I was saying about the Nationals in the last video. I do like that the Reds are going to let young arms pitch this season. I think it'll help them get the growing pains out now so that next season the team can maybe stand a chance as far as just trying to compete within the division. Hunter Green, Nick Lodolo, Graham Ashcraft, those are probably your three top arms in that rotation right now. Um, it has potential to be good at times this year, but other than that, it's just a young rotation again. Bullpen wise, it's pretty established. A strong bullpen behind young arms can help limit damage that may have already happened in the game, but this is a bullpen that's also going to get used a lot this year. It would be fun to see Alexis Diaz shine like his brother Edwin, though, in the closer's role. So I do hope that goes well for him. I think the Reds at least have something to look forward to in their bullpen. In summary, the Reds are bottom feeders, and it really sucks for them because they didn't have to be in this position. I hate what ownership did. And honestly, it just feels like they never fired Brian Price. Just saying. And lastly, we have the Pittsburgh Pirates, who also finished 62 and 100 last year. The good news for the Pirates is the farm is getting ready to come up, and I can honestly expect this team to surprise people this year. The future does look bright as long as the front office doesn't mess up what they've been building. Offensively, they added Carlos Santana and G-Man Choi, and they also brought back Andrew McCutchen in what looks like his final season. The offense, it could be good. I think It's probably their strongest part of 2023 right now, and they got O'Neal Cruz. If he breaks out and does what everybody expects him to, I mean, this guy could even be a serious front runner for MVP. They also have some solid depth on the bench. I think it puts them over a team like Cincinnati as far as just overall strength, as far as who's better. They are both in similar places right now, but I think the Pirates are definitely ahead of the Reds at this point. Rotation wise, it has potential, but it's young with aging vets as well. Vince Velasquez will be interesting to watch. If you remember in the mid 2010s, the team had a habit, Pittsburgh, I mean, they had a habit of bringing arms in that weren't really good, but they brought them back to life. And I have a feeling Velasquez could rediscover himself this year in a stress free place like Pittsburgh. Ryanzy Contreras is another arm to look out for. He could be a frontline starter for them down the stretch, especially if he puts up good numbers. He may actually be the best pitcher in this rotation coming up. So it'll be intriguing to watch their rotation and see how it performs. They have a okay bullpen. David Bednar is one of the best closers in the game right now, but if the bullpen isn't good, he's either rarely going to have save opportunities, or he's going to be constantly working under pressure. Not that he can't pitch under pressure, but do it enough times, I think he's more likely to fail throughout the year. So we'll just kind of see what happens. In summary, I think the Pirates are better than the Reds. I could easily see them winning 70 games this year. They have depth in the lineup, and the pitching is going to start seeing some of their top arms make their way to the club and hopefully perform like they hope. And if the rotation can be good, easily 70 wins, if not more. And now for the division predictions. I still think the Cardinals are the best in the division. The lineup is scary even when they aren't healthy, and they always have guys in the minors ready to go, seemingly. The rotation's health could be problematic, but again, they have depth to fill needs. Plus, it's the Cardinals. It's just really hard to count them out. They always seem to be in it, even in their years where they were kind of weak. For the Cubs, I actually think the Cubs are second right now. Yes, just because they had a big offseason, it doesn't necessarily mean it translates to the field. But the Cubs are more than capable of fighting with everyone in the division to get back to the playoffs. And if things go south for the Brewers and Cardinals, they're winning this division. And like I was saying, the Central is pretty weak compared to the rest of MLB. And if they were in any other division, I wouldn't necessarily feel this high on them, but because it's the NL Central, I feel like they're going to make a lot of noise. For the Brewers, I think they're in third. They look to be headed to a retooling phase. I think, like, they could get second. They could even win the division in this retooling phase. I don't think Burns finishes the season as a Brewer, though, unless the front office can make amends and the Brewers are actually playing like first place ball all year long. Milwaukee, absolutely, they can win the division, but I think if they did win the division, they'd be a repeat of the Cardinals last season and losing the wild card round anyway. So just, I don't know. I'm not really high on them right now. For the Pirates, I've got them being fourth. I think they're going to play better than everyone expects them to. 71 wins is not out of reach. The Pirates actually have an established lineup, which I think can help support inconsistent pitching throughout the year, and the bullpen is another thing. I think this team will be fine. It's part of growing pains. They don't need to be elite. I mean, they're probably not going to even win, or they're not really expected to win until 2024 at the earliest anyway. And Cincinnati, I've got them being fifth. I just don't see anything out of them this year other than the young rotation growing through the season and establishing themselves for next year. And it is a shame again. The offense is the best part of their game, but that's only because the offense will probably slug at home and give them a chance to be elite at home. All right, that is it for the NL Central breakdown. We have one more division to cover, which will be covered in tomorrow's video. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you're alerted when we upload new content. We also have our first podcast episode coming out this weekend, so be on the lookout for that. That's going to be on SoundCloud, and we will have clips on YouTube from that as well. Thanks everyone for watching, and we will see you all in the next one.